Bang, bang, Niner gang. Thank you for coming to another episode of the Gridiron podcast with your host, Will. And today we're simply just talking about the NFL draft. I think everybody and their mama want to be a HC, a OC, a DC when it comes to draft night. So I think I should kind of put my 2 cents in. Why not? Now, of course, you want to be realistic. The 49ers aren't getting a Ruben Bain out of Miami. You know what I'm saying? But a man can dream. Now I'm being funny. We're not getting Ruben Bain. But I got maybe 5, 6 players here that I can realistically see us getting, and I feel like they can help the team. So, why not? But first of all, I hope you guys are having a good day so far, man. My day has been really good. So let's start off, man. I like Casey Concepcion. Hearing him speak, and he seems like just a hell of a person, man. But besides just a person, I think the 49ers, we need more. We need more thieves. We need more criminals, man. That's what we need. But I'm being funny, I guess. But back to KC Concepcion, man. Standing at 5'11", 190. So after looking up some stuff about him and actually seeing him play, he racked up 9 touchdowns for 900 yards, and he's a great route runner. But he struggles with the hands, and that seemed to be something that kind of receivers are pretty familiar with now. But he drops a lot of passes, but I think he's one of the better route runners in this draft class. So he stands out a lot, and the 49ers can actually get him. We definitely can. I think we have the 27th pick, and it's really, with comparing him to our receivers in our receiving room. Like Ricky Pearsall, great route runner, and you guys know I love some Ricky Pearsall, but I don't think Ricky Pearsall can stay healthy, man. I'm just being honest. Mike Evans, again, Hall of Famer. I just do not like the fact that he's 32 years old, man, but he's doing his job well, and that's all you can ask for, right? Christian Kirk, great pickup, man. I like Christian Kirk a lot, but I think we need some more young guys in the room, man. Pause, no Diddy. But I just think we need to get younger at receiver, and we need to do it fast. Jordan Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, those are just extra bodies. Great guys, though, but, we can definitely use KC Concepcion. I love him a lot. So this is a corner out of Texas. His name is Malik Muhammad, standing at 6', 180. Okay, so very, very long. And I think the 49ers, we need that height in the receiver. Because, a corner at 6 foot is pretty solid. That's I don't want to say it's a tall corner, but it's a corner that can definitely get up there. Not the biggest guy, but he definitely has the speed. I think he ran a 4.4 flat, and that stands out a lot, man. You have a corner that's fast, it's hard to get a D ball on him, so that really stands out a lot. And, comparing him to Upton Stout and Diamador Lenore and, Renardo Green, I think he can definitely help us out a lot. And, Malik Muhammad, when he was at Texas, batted a lot of balls away. Very physical, too. He's actually very physical for a corner. That's something that you just love. You love to see as a football watcher and a player, so that's something that stands out to me a lot. But, now this is my number one. This might be my second. Dylan Thyman out of Oregon. Okay, so he's standing at 6 foot, weighed 205. He's a safety. So I think we need a guy like that. We need a covered safety, man. We need a guy that can cover. For example, I like Malik Mustafa. I think Malik Mustafa. I think that dude want to be a linebacker, man. Dude built like a tank. I don't want to say he wants to be a linebacker, but dude, he can't cover. Definitely the kind of safety you see more of in the league, 15, 20 years ago. But we need guys that can cover, man. The 49ers haven't had a really good coverage safety in a while, and we've been lacking that. And again, if we were to draft Thyman, if he even goes that high, I think he can really help out our room, because the thing is, man, when you have a young guy and he stands out like that, guys are going to be like, wow, like it's saying a lot because the thing is when you're a first round pick, just you were drafted in the first round and you're in a receiving room or a cornerback. It doesn't matter what you're doing. When you come out as a rookie and you perform, that shows a lot. And not only that, the people around you are going to be like, damn, like, what is he learning so fast that can make him contribute so well in the big leagues? You know what I'm saying? So that stands out a lot. But I think he's one of those guys that can really stand out, man. I like that guy a lot. And, I want him the most out of everybody, no Diddy, in the draft. So, man, let's see what can happen with that situation. And I got Caden Proctor out of Alabama. Okay, so I know I kind of flip flop back and forth, but I think I finally made my decision. I'm officially done with Trent Williams, man. I think with the situation, look, man, Trent Williams he'll be 40 in a few years, and I think we got to be realistic with ourselves. We know who Trent Williams is, and he stands out in that offensive line room. But the thing is, man, you can't keep paying him $30 million every time it's the offseason. Every time it's the offseason, it's a contract situation with him. So I think, if we were to get Caden Proctor out even if Caden Proctor Caden Proctor is 6'7", 370 pounds. That's a lot of man, and he might not even go that far. But again, we'll see. You just never know. Teams be drafting weirdly nowadays, and this is more of an underrated guy. I like him a lot because I would sometimes play with him on College Football 26, and I like Mason Thomas a lot out of Oklahoma. He's about 6'2", 640, and okay, so my opinion on the 49ers drafting defensive linemen, it's been kind of wacky these past few years. I think of Drake Jackson. He didn't work out at all, man. And there's a few other guys that C.J. West and Alfred Collins, they did pretty well. But I would have to say more from a defensive end standpoint, not necessarily like a defensive it's back and forth. Javon Kinlaw didn't work out at all. That dude was, just so big, but couldn't do anything really on the field. So I think again, these guys are human. They can't tell the future, but we haven't had the best of luck when drafting defensive linemen in the past few years. Nick Bosa, that was 7 years ago. That's an exception, but Nick Bosa was just diamond in the rough. But thankful that we have him. But I like Mason Thomas a lot out of Oklahoma. He's 6'2", 240, not the biggest guy, but he can bend. Man, let me tell y'all something. As a former D lineman, when you can bend well, no Diddy, pause. When you can bend well, you can really make a way for not only yourself, but the guys that's around you. And the thing is, man, you get to the quarterback fast, that's all you can ask for, man. It starts with the D-line. Like I've said in my previous videos, a great defensive line can make up for a shitty defensive back room, and that's facts. But eventually that defensive back room is going to cave in, but most of the time with a great D-line, it could really disguise a really bad D-line, defensive back room. But when I compare Mason Thomas to our other defensive ends, you got Bosa. You can't compare Nick Bosa to anybody unless it's like freaking Myles Garrett or T.J. Watt. Mykel Williams is more of a run stopper. I think Mykel Williams, coming off an injury, I would really love to see what he can do. But we need pass rushers, man. I think the 49ers actually today, they either picked up or they trade. I think they picked up a guy from Cincinnati, Cam Sample. Don't really know much about him, but this is probably another name for depth. You know what I'm saying? But and also another guy that doesn't get a lot of praise is Sam Okiwanu. I know I probably said his name wrong, but big African dude, man. Reminded me of a dude I used to play with back in high school, man. Very, very big and very strong too, man. And he doesn't get a lot of praise, but I'm gonna give him his flowers, man. That dude helped us out a lot, and he can give you about maybe 4 or 5 sacks a year if he's on the field, So that stands out, and I think every team when it comes to the draft, you can't draft every single position that you need. Of course, it would be nice. I know most people would want to have 20 draft picks, but the thing is, for one, who gonna pay them dudes, and second of all, you just can't. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do it. But I'm really excited to see about the draft, man. I thought about streaming, going live for the draft. God willing, I get more subscribers and whatnot. We'll see how that goes. But recently, I went over 100 subscribers, and I just want to say, man, for the grace of God, thank you guys so much, man. I prayed that everything with this podcast is working out so far. It's been really well. I thank you guys for the support, man. And that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. Wasn't gonna be too long of a video. I just simply wanted to put out the guys that I wanted to draft, and I'm not gonna be there when they draft, but I would love for them to look. If you in the 49ers, bro, look, reach out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I can scout for you guys, bro. I'm playing. No, I can't, bro. But I know some football. I know that. But man, that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching again. Thank you for tuning into the Gold Gridiron podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Man, look, turn on them post notifications. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I would love if you could, man. But that's all I have to say. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Bye bye.